Alright everybody, welcome out here to another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing the predictions that I would love to see for the 2024 Monster Jam season. 2023 has been an amazing year so far for Monster Jam, and we cannot wait to see what next year is going to have in store. As you all know, the season kickoff show or schedule announcement is only 1 month away, as that is taking place in next month, sometime in September. So I'm going to be giving my predictions and what I would love to see for next season. But first, before we talk about that, let's recap some of the stuff that happened last year. Some of the stuff that happened this year. This year, we saw 5 brand new tour champions. We got to see Adam Anderson win Stadium Series Red and get his first series championship for the first time since 2019. So it's nice to see Adam Anderson get another tour win out here in Grave Digger, as Adam would be extremely dominant and throw it down on Stadium Series Red this season. And then on Arena Series Central, becoming a now 4-time Arena Series champion will be Brandon Vincent in Gravedigger. He's won 4 Arena Championship Series now in a row. After having his successful 2022 season with winning Arena Series West and winning the World Finals Racing Championship, he'd come on Arena Series Central and just dominate. But it was a tough battle, though, as he had to face some tough competitors like John Zimmer Jr., Tony Oaks, Cody Saucier, and Zach Garner, and many others. Then Tristan England would finally come out for his first time in 4 years. Kind of Adam Anderson would come out and get the win on Arena Series West. And it's something that's been a long time coming for Tristan. He's been wanting and deserving another series championship win, and he would finally get it here this year on Arena Series West, taking down last year's Arena Series Central champion Tristan Anderson in Gravedigger. On Stadium Tour Blue, Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger would finally get his long overdue first ever Stadium Series championship win, as he would be extremely dominant on the tour out here. And he's been deserving this for a long time, as Tyler has been deserving to try to win that Stadium Series championship, and he would win, defeating tough competitors like Ryan Anderson, Cynthia Gauthier, Jim Kohler, Bari Musauer, Corey Rummel, and many others against his stacked field on Stadium Tour Blue. And then lastly on Arena Series East, on only his second year, Weston Anderson in Gravedigger would get the win. Weston did so many crazy things this season, was just so dominant in Gravedigger. He had many crazy wow moments and saves, as this kid is just crazy. I cannot wait to see what he's going to do in the future. He truly is driving like his dad, and he's he's carrying on the legacy of Gravedigger and doing wild and crazy things that we could have never imagined. So we can always see what Weston Anderson has up his sleeve, as his future is really bright in Monster Jam. Next up, Monster Jam would return to Monster Jam World Finals would go to Nissan Stadium on July 1st. For the first time ever, the World Finals would have their event in Nashville, Tennessee at Nissan Stadium. Here is a recap of what happened in the rainy and muddy conditions that we saw in Nashville, Tennessee. It was going to be a slick track, which was going to make it hard for all 4 competitions. Here are the 4 drivers who came out as world champions throughout the tough, muddy conditions. Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger would win the high jump championship for the 2nd time in a row. Using his throttle rhythm is insane in the high jump competition, as he's evolving the high jump competition, bringing in a skill factor in there. So that would be really nice to see Ryan Anderson win the high jump competition for the 2nd year in a row and become a 4-time World Finals champion. In the skills competition, Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger would come out on top. Tyler Menninga would have an insane tombstone off the backflip ramp, as it was really hard to balance those trucks out there in those intense muddy conditions. But Tyler Menninga would do it and then he'd get a tombstone off the backflip ramp and walk it almost across the track in order to get the win. And then in racing, after coming up short the year previously, Tristan England would come out as a World Racing Championship. This is something Tristan England really deserves, as Tristan, in 2022, he was really fast. He almost won the World Racing Championship until he overturned in the one corner line for Ryan Anderson to win. And Tristan would finish in third in racing last year. I mean, we're coming so close to the year previously. Come here to Nashville, and he would rock the house, and he would be really fast and consistent, and would defeat the fastest qualifier, Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid, in the finals to win the World Racing Championship. And then in freestyle, Colt Stevens and Thunder Roaris would come out on top. Colt Stevens Colt Stevens, he's been driving for a little while now. After 2020, he ended up taking a break from Monster Jam and went to be a part of the NBC broadcast. But in 2022, he returned to the sport to drive Max D for Australia, Arnhem, and Finland. And then he'd get a full-time ride in Thunder Roaris this season and would do pretty good and come out to the World Finals and have a standout run with huge air, good momentum, and 2 backflips. And he would become the World Finals freestyle champion. Nice job here for Colt Stevens here to carry on his father's legacy here. Here, Scott Stevens, the old driver of King Crunch. Good job here for Colt Stevens, as he would get a nice freestyle win, and that he really deserved here, and something nobody was expecting. Anyway, it's the World Finals. The unexpected can happen, and Colt Stevens would win the World Freestyle Championship. Next up, here are the tours, and so that is practically everything we need to recap for 2023. There was some other stuff that did happen throughout the season, like a bunch of new trucks debuted, like the Thunder Roaris and Marvel trucks, and MonsterJam would also return to have a bigger international presence throughout the season. But now let's move on into what I would love to see for next year in all my tour predictions. So my first tour prediction right here is Stadium Championship Series Red. Now I'm predicting this tour will consist of 16 trucks. That's something I really do want to see come back, as they bring back a 16 truck lineup. Instead of 12 trucks, we jump back to 16 trucks, since I think there's enough trucks that we can have to do it. So here's what I'd love to see consist here for Stadium Tour Red. We have Adam Anderson in Gravedigger, Tom Menson, Max D, Caleb Blood in Soldier of Fortune, Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid, David Olfer in Velociraptor, Dalton Wildner in Jurassic Attack, Cody Saucier in Dragon, Brandon Mahan in Whiplash, Matt Pagliarulo in Jester, Nick Pagliarulo in Kraken, Jim Kohler in Avenger, Chris Kohler in Brutus, Todd LeDuc in Blue Thunder, Cynthia Gauthier in Lucas Stabilizer, Jamie Garner in Overboard, and Cole Vennard in the Black Pearl. Some notable things about this tour here is Adam Anderson and Gravedigger will return here being the defending series champion, and he would return here to try to defend his series title from last year. He will be returning to Stadium Tour Red here to try to defend his title. This tour will also feature the Stadium Tour debuts from David Olfer and Dalton Wildner. David Olfer is supposed to be on a Stadium Tour in 2023, but unfortunately he was replaced with Travis Mowry, and David Olfer would go back to the arenas. I think David Olfer deserves a big spotlight here in the stadium. I mean, his freestyle runs from Glendale 2 of 2022 and his freestyle run from New Orleans prove why we need to get him in a stadium. He may not do as best in stadiums as of right now, but I think once he gets his feet wet and gets some time in the stadium, he'll be a tough competitor to beat here, and he'll be really tough competition to beat. Then we have Dalton Wildner in Jurassic Attack. Dalton Wildner, he's done really good this season on Arena Series East, but I think we should move him up to the stadiums. He's done some bigger floors out there before, like he's done at independent shows. He's done some pretty big floors at the independent shows. He's done some really big tracks out there at some the independent shows he does. And I think he could really rock it out and really deserves to have a chance in a stadium tour full-time during 2024. Then this tour will also mark a return for Cody Saucier and Brianna Mahan to come back to the stadium tours. Cody Saucier hasn't driven on a stadium tour since 2020. These past 2 seasons, he's been in arenas, and Cody's not the best in the arenas. He deserves to be in a stadium. He can absolutely just rock it in a stadium. He knows how to throw out a nice bicycle for skills. He is a really good racer and is fast in racing. And he is also, so he can just really burn it down in freestyle. So Cody deserves to step up from the arenas to the stadiums. We also have Brianna Mahan in Whiplash. Brianna Mahan, unfortunately, she could not compete during the 2023 season because she was pregnant. And, unfortunately, if you're pregnant, you can't really drive a monster truck as it is too dangerous for the health of the baby and yourself. So Brianna Mahan would have to step out here for 2023. But we would love to see her come back next season here to rock it out in this Whiplash truck. We really want to see this Whiplash truck come back and be better than ever. Then also on this tour, we would see Todd LeDuc return to Blue Thunder. Todd LeDuc, we do not want to see him in Megalodon again this season, as he didn't really have the best of luck in Megalodon, as his truck would always be having mechanical issues, and I don't really think he fit the Megalodon name really well. So I think he fits a lot better in Blue Thunder, and we'd love to see him back in Blue Thunder. We'd love to see Chris Kohler move from Monster Mutt full-time to now go back to Brutus. I want to see him full-time in Brutus. Also, shout out to MonsterJamCalifornia on Instagram for allowing me to use his driver card for this. So, big shout out to him. Go follow him. But anyways, we'd love to see Chris Kohler return to Brutus full-time in 2024, or we haven't seen Brutus drive in first quarter since 2017, so we'd love to see Brutus do some first quarter shows with Chris Kohler behind the wheel. And we'd also see Jamie Garner return to Overboard yet again for this season. I can't wait to see Jamie Garner, or hopefully try to return back to Overboard. He did pretty good in El Toro Loco, but we want to see him back in that Overboard truck. We want to see that nice chrome blue Overboard body compete full-time in a stadium. Jamie Garner did good this season. We'd love to see him represent his own name in Overboard. And that's it for Stadium Tour Red. This is a really, really stacked tour with... This tour has 5 World Finals champions on it here. Adam Anderson, Tom Mentz, Jim Kohler, Todd LeDuc, and Cynthia Gauthier. There's 5 world champions on this tour. It is really stacked. It's going to be a really tough tour right here. There was a lot of big dogs on this tour, like Adam, Tom, Camden, Cody, Cynthia, Todd, Jim, Cole Vennard, Nick Pagliarulo. This is a really stacked tour, or as it would be a really tough competition out here. And it's going to be a really tight tour, as it'll be tight to the very end. And here's what I'd love to see for the schedules. Yes, this year I'm also predicting what I want to see for the schedule. Here's what my prediction for the schedule will be. January 6th, they'll go to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Then the week later, they'll travel to Orlando, Florida in Camping World Stadium on January 13th. And then January 20th through the 21st, they'll do 2 shows at the Dome at America Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Actually, put MI there for some reason. That's supposed to be MO for Missouri. So, yeah. On January 7th, they would travel to Houston, Texas in NRG Stadium as we slowly head out west. And then February 3rd through 4th, they'll head to Snapdragon Stadium for 2 shows in San Diego, California. Then February 10th and 11th and February 17th and 18th, they'll be in Anaheim, California in Angel Stadium for 4 shows. And then we'd see on February 24th through 25th, they'll be in El Paso, Texas at the UTEP Sun Bowl for 2 shows. Then March 2nd, they'll travel all the way back to Florida here in Jacksonville, Florida at TIAA Bank Field for a show. Then the next weekend, they'll head back out to Texas at Arlington and at AT&T Stadium. And then the next week, they'll head to Detroit, Michigan at Ford Field for 2 shows. And then after that, the tour will have a week off. Then they'll come back March 30th for Syracuse, New York at the JMA Wireless Dome on Easter weekend. And then April 6th, they'll head off to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Lincoln Financial Field. April 13th through 14th, they'll head to Atlanta Motor Speedway in Atlanta, Georgia for 2 shows. April 20th, they'll head to Charlotte, North Carolina at the dirt track at Charlotte for MonsterJam's for a first-time appearance there. And then after that, April 27th, they'll head out to Glendale, Arizona at State Farm Stadium. Then they'll wrap up the tour for their final stop on May 4th at East Rutherford, New Jersey in MetLife Stadium. This is a really good tour out here for Stadium Tour Red. And I really do love what I'm seeing out here for this tour or schedule out here. As what we'll see here in the schedule, I'm really hoping they bring back a January Tampa show, because unfortunately throughout the past couple of years in 2021 and 2022 and 2023, they couldn't do a show in January because of 2 reasons: A, the pandemic, and B, with the pandemic messing up Monster Jam's usual schedule that they had back before the pandemic, and B, the Buccaneers with Tom Brady. As you know, Tom Brady played for the Buccaneers, and when Tom Brady played for the Buccaneers, he was a really good player. They're making them go to the playoffs, where before they wouldn't make it to the playoffs. So with Tom Brady now retiring and gone from the Buccaneers, the Bucs are probably not going to do as well, and they may not make the playoffs. Sorry to any Bucs fans out there, but I'm sorry, but they're not going to make it to the playoffs, which means Raymond James Stadium will be open in January to do a show. Then we can bring back the Orlando show back to January as well, so Orlando can finally have some nice weather. As throughout the past couple of years in Orlando since 2019, and the weather for the shows has just been bad. It's always been hot and rainy in Orlando, so it'd be nice to have that back. I'd also love for San Diego to get both stadium tours. We get separate stadium tours for San Diego. Yeah, I'd just love to see that each stadium tour gets a chance there at San Diego instead of seeing the same tour there. That's something that did kind of come to wishes. This year, Anaheim and Houston got to see both stadium tours instead of seeing just one. I'm really happy they did that, so I hope they can do the same for now for San Diego and Tampa. And then other notable things here to note about this schedule is near the end of the tour, we're here with Atlanta and Charlotte with 2 back-to-back Speedway shows. These crews are going to have to work hard here, as these Speedway shows are no joke. They can really put a damage to the truck. But it's going to be a tough weekend here for the team here as as this tour will also mark Monster Jam's debut at the dirt track at Charlotte in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, North Carolina in general hasn't been big at all for Monster Jam, as Monster Jam will maybe do a few arena shows there, but that's about it. We want to see a bigger show in North Carolina. We'd love to see, and I'd love to see them do more Speedway shows again. I'd really love to see Monster Jam do more Speedway shows, so that is why I'm hoping that we can do more Speedway shows, such as the dirt track at Charlotte, which would be a really good show for Monster Jam there. It's a big track, and we can maybe see an over-under style track there. But that's about it here for the Stadium Tour Red schedule. Next up, let's move on to our next tour of Arena Championship Series West, which will feature Kristen Anderson and Gravedigger, Elvis Lainez and El Toro Loco, Brandon Russell and Max D, Jamie Sullivan and Monster Mutt Dalmatian, Mark Hall and Raminator, Kurt Kramer and Hot Sea, Frank Krimmel and Stone Crusher, and Chad Tingler in Hooked. Some notable things to note about this tour is 4 out of the 8 drivers here on Arena Series West are returning for the first time to the tour. Kristen Anderson, Elvis Lainez, Mark Hall, and Kurt Kramer are all returning to the West Coast out here for the Arena Series West. Then we'll also see here on this tour, we'll get to see the notability is we'll have a new tour champion right here, considering the defending Arena Series West champion Tristan England is nowhere to be found on this tour. So we'll have a new tour champion here. It's going to allow a chance maybe for Kristen Anderson to pick up her second tour win, or possibly somebody else from this field gets the win. Some other things here to note are Brandon Rassel will be back in Max D. Brandon Rassel, he did one show in Max D in 2022 as a fill-in for Blake Ranger. We'd love to see him make a full-time appearance here in Monster Jam driving Max D, as we need more Max D drivers out here, so I think he would be a really good fit out here. We have Jamie Sullivan back in Monster Mutt Dalmatian, this time competing on the West Coast. We have Kurt Kramer, which I'm hoping to see make a full-time ride in Hot Seat, as I think he fits better in Hot Seat than what he does Rammunition. So I hope he makes a full-time drive in Hot Seat for next season. Frank Krim will return yet again to drive Stone Crusher for a full season. And then we'd love to see Chad Tingler get out of Zombie and drive Hooked next year full-time, as we'd love to see the return of Hooked to Monster Jam. For the tour schedule, it will be really similar to last year. There was a few changes. January 5th through 7th, they'll be in Salt Lake City, Utah at the Vivint Arena. January 12th through 14th, they'll be at Tacoma, Washington at the Tacoma Dome. January 19th through 21st, they'll be in Spokane, Washington at the Spokane Arena. January 26th through 28th, they'll be in Sacramento, California at the Golden One Center. On February 3rd, they'll be in Fargo, North Dakota at the Fargo Dome. February 9th through 12th, they'll be in Denver, Colorado at the Ball Arena. February 17th through 18th, they'll be at Oklahoma City, Oklahoma at the Paycom Center. February 24th through 25th, they'll be in Wichita, Kansas at the Intrust Bank Arena. March 1st through 3rd, they'll be in Portland, Oregon at the Moda Center. March 8th through 10th, they'll be in Fresno, California at the Save Mart Center. March 15th through 17th, they'll be in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Tingley Coliseum. March 23rd through 24th, they'll be in Little Rock, Arkansas at the Simmons Bank Arena. March 29th through 30th, they'll be in Lincoln, Nebraska at the Pinnacle Bank Arena. April 5th through 7th, they'll be in Tucson, Arizona at the Tucson Arena. April 13th through 14th, they'll be in Des Moines, Iowa at the Wells Fargo Arena. April 20th through 21st, they'll be in Austin, Texas at the Moody Center. April 26th through 28th, they'll be in Colorado Springs, Colorado at the Broadmoor World Arena. Then to wrap up the tour, May 3rd through 5th, they'll be in Reno, Nevada at the Reno Sparks Livestock Event Center. Now, this tour here is basically the same schedule as last year. The only changes is that this tour, there's no weekends off here on this tour. And we added a stop of Spokane, Washington at the Spokane Arena. I've seen comments before on social media saying the fans, they want Spokane, Washington back for first quarter shows, as it hasn't been featured in first quarter since I believe 2020, before the pandemic. So we hope we can see Spokane return for first quarter. Then we also do have Reno at the end of the tour here for the final stop of the season. We hope Reno can be counted here towards the points series here. I don't think it ever has been. And we'd love to see the Arena Series West close out their tour on a huge floor like Reno. Next up, for the track design here for this tour, or I'd love to see them run the toughest truck tour design track. So I would love to see the arena switch up their track styles for each tour, kind of like the stadiums. So I'd love to see this track design from what they use for the toughest truck tour to be the design for the arena show, where they'll put cars here, and they'll have a giant step-up ramp, they have a little race lane, they can do their two-wheel moves off of, poppers, reverse poppers, stoppies, moonwalks. Maybe they can even use these race lanes for bicycles. And then I'd also love to see, like, you may wonder, where are they going to put the 8-pack backflip on is, well, the 8-pack backflip ramp, they can put it right here off the side of this step-up ramp, as, and that'll actually give them more room to do the 8-pack jump, and we can see more of a Chicago-style racing in here with the race lanes, which is something we haven't seen in a Monster Jam arena for a very long time. Next up out here for Monster Jam here on Arena Series Central, well, the tour will consist and feature of Brandon Vincent in Gravedigger, Lindsey Reed in Scooby-Doo, Devin Winfield in Jurassic Attack, Bailey Shea in Rockwell Red, Bernard Light in Spider-Man, Hunter Souza in Wrecking Machine, Tim Hall Jr. in Kamikaze, and Tony Oaks in Soldier Fortune Black Ops. Some things to note here about this tour is Brandon Vincent and will be the defending tour champion here on this tour, or as he'll hope to try to get his 5th Arena Series win in a row. Lindsey Reed will be back on this tour to drive Scooby-Doo. Devin Winfield will make his Monster Jam debut driving Jurassic Attack. We hope Bailey Shea can return to Rockwell Red full-time next year instead of driving Monster Mutt Dalmatian, because we want to see a variety of trucks and not repeat trucks. So I want to see a variety, and I want to see the independents run their own names instead of Feld bodies. Bernard Light will make his appearance on this tour driving Spider-Man. So we'll see Spider-Man hopefully make his debut here in the States. You know, see Bernard make his debut with Spider-Man in the States here on this tour. Hunter Souza will return to Wrecking Machine. Yes, we hope we can see him drive Wrecking Machine full-time instead of driving an Earthshaker. He can be full-time Wrecking Machine. We hope to see Kamikaze to hopefully make their Monster Jam debut with Tim Hall Jr. also making his Monster Jam debut behind the wheel. Then I also love to see Tony Oaks get out of Thunder Roars and back into Soldier of Fortune Black Ops, because we want to try to avoid repeat trucks, as, spoiler alert, on this schedule, the only repeat trucks I have on this schedule announcement are Gravedigger, Max D, El Toro Loco, and Jurassic Attack are the only repeat trucks on this here. So, we do hope Tony Oaks can return to Black Ops to represent for all the men and women in uniform who fight for our country. We hope we can see him return there, as he fits better in Soldier Fortune Black Ops than what he does in Thunder Roars. Now, the tour schedule will be very similar to last year, but with some slight twists. We have January 6th through 7th, they'll be in Greenville, North Carolina at the Bon Secours Wellness. January 13th through 14th, they'll be in Greensboro, North Carolina at the Greensboro Coliseum. January 19th through 21st, they'll be in Hampton, Virginia at the Hampton Coliseum. January 26th through 28th, they'll be in Washington, D.C. at the Capital One Arena. February 2nd through 4th, they'll be in Providence, Rhode Island at the Dunkin' Donuts Center. February 10th through 11th, they'll be in Birmingham, Alabama at the Legacy Arena, BJCC. February 17th through 18th, they'll be in Cleveland, Ohio at the Rocket Mortgage Field House. February 23rd through 25th, they'll be in Allentown, Pennsylvania at the PPL Center. March 2nd through 3rd, they'll be in Tupelo, Mississippi at the Bancorp South Arena. March 8th through 10th, they'll be in Hidalgo, Texas at the Payne Arena. March 15th through 17th, they'll be in Huntsville, Alabama at the Von Braun Center Propst Arena. March 23rd through 24th, they'll be in Louisville, Kentucky at the Freedom Hall, a very historic venue right there. March 29th through 30th, they'll be in Florence, South Carolina at the Florence Center. April 6th through 7th, they'll be in North Charleston, South Carolina at the North Charleston Coliseum. April 13th through 14th, they'll be in Green Bay, Wisconsin at the Retsch Center. April 20th through 21st, they'll be in Columbia, South Carolina at the Colonial Life Arena. April 27th through 28th, they'll be in Pensacola, Florida at the Pensacola Bay Center. And then lastly, May 3rd through 4th, they'll be in Evansville, Indiana at the Vanderburg 4-H Center. Woo! So some notable things to note about the schedules. They'll basically be the same as last year. But the thing is, this tour, like the other arena tour, they have no weekends off. So you're going to be grinding wrenches on that truck every weekend. And it's going to be a long tour for all these drivers, where your mentality and your mental game and your head game is what could determine a win or loss. last year, because this is going to be a really long tour or with no weekends off. So it's going to be a long tour or here. And then some other things to note here, Louisville, Kentucky, like, that's just a famous venue that we're so excited to return to. Pensacola will this time be on Arena Series East than on Arena Series Central rather than Arena Series West, because Arena Series West, it's the West Coast. Florida is not on the West Coast, that's on the East Coast. So yeah, so we hope we can see that happen. Then we can just put that in, since Florida, that's more on the central area, so we can put Pensacola on there. And then we'll see Evansville, Indiana. As we know, I'd love to see Monster do more fairground outdoor venues like what we see at independent shows. That's something I would love to see more of in Monster Jam. To give a bit more variety, I want to see more variety in venues besides stadiums and arenas. I want to see more of a variety in the venues Monster Jam goes to. And that is why I put that there. And it's a place like Evansville, Indiana. It's been known for the Summer Smash for independent shows, and so it would be really cool to see a Monster Jam track out there. And to bring that venue into Monster Jam, I think the drivers there could really burn it down. Now, before I'm gonna go review the next time, I'm actually gonna go get some water. Alright, I'm back. I need that water. Alright, so next up, here's what the track for Arena Series Central would look like. It would just be the typical arena pod track. Nothing really special. It's stuff we've been seeing now for the past couple of years. Typical arena pod. Nothing really that much else to say here for that track. And maybe they could switch up the track for Evansville, Indiana. And for Evansville, Indiana, they can use the track like what they used for the Evansville Summer Smash. Now here's our next tour. We just covered our first 3 tours right here. Time to cover the last 3 here. We have Arena Series East right here, which is going to feature Weston Anderson and Gravedigger, Ashley Sanford and Megalodon, Brandon Tolochka and Just Get Her Done Second Generation, Michaela Tolochka and Miss Get Her Done, Zach Garner and Wildside, John Zimmer Jr. and Terminal Velocity, Adam Enticknap and Monster Mutt Rottweiler, and Logan Ashline in Sparkle Smash. So Arena Series East, this tour will feature, and we'll see Weston Anderson return to try to defend his series title here, as he's going to hope to try to defend his series title here on the Arena Series East. So, and I know a lot of people are going to say, probably randomly in the comments for saying, oh my goodness, why isn't Weston in a stadium? I believe Weston should be in a stadium at some point, but I just don't think that moment will be now. Maybe at some point we can get another brand new Gravedigger driver. Then I'd say an absolute yes, we can move up to 3 stadium tours with Weston being in one. Unless Tyler and Weston swap out, where Tyler goes back to the arenas and Weston goes to the stadiums. But I think for now, Weston should just stay in a stadium for an arena just for now. He's going to use probably some crazy new moves that we've never seen before or here on this tour. So we can always see Weston back here for this tour in the arenas. And then other things to note here, we'll have Michaela Tolochka return to Miss Get Her Done. We want Michaela Tolochka to get out of Megalodon, aka Finny, also known as Megalodon. That is what she calls Megalodon. She calls it Finny. It's the name of the shark. So we want to see her out of Finny and get into Miss Get Her Done full time here for next season. And so you can see a variety in trucks. We also have Zach Garner and John Zimmer Jr. who are going to probably come in full swing for that championship. John Zimmer Jr. was so close this year to winning Arena Series Central, so he's going to want to win Arena Series East. This year is going to come after it for that title. He's going to try to get that title away from Weston Anderson and Gravedigger. He's going to want to try to win that tour and try to get in the World Finals, because he's also robbed from being in the World Finals field. Then we have Adam Enticknap here making his Monster Jam debut. We saw him at UNOH last year, and we'd love to see him out of the broadcast booth on MAV TV to be in a stadium here to drive Monster Mutt Rottweiler, and to see Monster Mutt Rottweiler make its domestic return here in the U.S. and make a full-time return. Then lastly, we'd love to see Logan Ashline debut a brand new truck called Sparkle Smash. Truck that we've seen in Spin Master Diecast and in Monster Jam Steel Titans 2. So we'd love to see Logan Ashline drive it. I mean, it's a unicorn kind of like truck, and I think Logan Ashline would really fit this name really well. And she can get a full-time ride here on Arena Series East. The schedule for Arena Series East will be the following. In January 6th through 7th, they'll be in Nashville, Tennessee at the Bridgestone Arena. January 13th through 14th, they'll be in Kansas City, Missouri at the T-Mobile Center. January 20th through 21st, they'll be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Fiserv Forum. January 26th through 28th, they'll be in Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center. February 2nd through 4th, they'll be in Belmont Park, New York, and the UBS Arena. February 9th through 11th, they'll be at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the PPG Paints Arena. February 16th through 18th, they'll be in Worcester, Massachusetts at the DCU Center. February 24th through 25th, they'll be in Hartford, Connecticut at the XL Center. March 2nd through 3rd, they'll be in Albany, New York at the MVP Arena. March 8th through 10th, they'll be in Toledo, Ohio at the Huntington Center. March 15th through 17th, they'll be in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the Van Andel Arena. March 23rd through 24th, they'll be in Columbus, Ohio at the Schottenstein Center. March 29th through 30th, they'll be in Cincinnati, Ohio at the Heritage Bank Arena Center. April 6th through 7th, they'll be in Jacksonville, Florida at the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. April 13th through 14th, they'll be in Hamilton, Ontario at the First Ontario Center. April 19th through 21st, they'll be in Baltimore, Maryland at the Baltimore Arena. April 26th to 20th, they'll be in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania at the Mohegan Sun Arena. And lastly, May 4th through 5th, they'll be in Manchester, New Hampshire at the SNHU Arena. I need to catch a breath after that one. My head's starting to get light from all the speaking I've done in this video. But some notable things here to note about this schedule is Nashville, Tennessee will be returning to an arena in Nashville, Tennessee, close by to the Nissan Stadium where we held the last World Finals at. We'll be returning there to the Bridgestone Arena. And then also another thing to note here is we'll be returning to Jacksonville, Florida at the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. We'd love to see more of the Florida arena shows get counted in the first quarter, or like Jacksonville. We'd love to see this one make a return here in Jacksonville. Oh, I really want to see this stop be re-added here, and they can revisit Jacksonville, the arena show, there for the first time since 2019. Now in the Arena Series, each track will be actually really interesting. I'd love to see them start racing from on top of the pod. So basically how the track will work, the truck will come on down, they'll come down from the pod right here, make a round here, and then come around here to the finish line. And for the other lane, they would come around here and boom across the finish line. And that is how the track would work. They'd be interested to see the Cyclone style here, but the track would basically remain the same. But besides the racing style, they'd start from on top of the pod instead of on the ground floor. That's something I would really love to see, and I think it would be really cool. Next up, that would be it for that tour. We're going to move on to our final stadium tour here, which will actually be really interesting here for Stadium Tour Yellow. Which will feature Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger, Barry Musauer in Black Panther, Colton Eichelberger in Max D, Ryan Anderson in Son of a Digger, Bryce Kenny in The Grey Cliffs Mohawk Warrior, Tristan England in Earthshaker, Mike Christensen in Vendetta, Joe Uri in Velociraptor, Corey Rummel in Rage, Joe Foley in Axe, John Gordon in Bad Company, Ryan Disharoon in Shaker, Michael Pagliarulo in Recreation, Chucky Pauken in Excalibur, Armando Castro in El Toro Loco, and Colt Stevens in Thunder Wars. Lots of things here to note about this tour. First off, I'd love to see a yellow stadium tour return for the first time since for the first time since 2022. We'd love to see a yellow stadium tour. And some things to note here about the lineup is this is where you'll find your defending series champion Tyler Menninga and Gravedigger, as well as all four of your defending World Finals champions. You have your defending skills champion Tyler Menninga, defending high jump champion Ryan Anderson, defending racing champion Tristan England, and defending world freestyle champion Colt Stevens. This tour will also be an all-male stadium tour, as there will be no females and no girls on this tour. And this tour would also feature Bari Musauer making his domestic debut driving Black Panther, as he'll move out as Zombie and into one of the Marvel trucks Black Panther. We'll see Cole Neichelberger make a full-time Monster Jam return driving Max D. Joe Uri will make also another full-time Monster Jam return driving Velociraptor, as now a part of Team Throttle Monster, as he'll be leaving the seat as Zombie in the Feld team to be an independent, and here a part of Team Throttle Monster driving the Blue Velociraptor. Corey Romo will make his first quarter return in Rage for the first time since 2021. He'll drive Rage. He'll get out of his Dirt Dolphin and back into Rage. We'll have also Ryan Disherin would be driving Saigon Shaker. We'll see Ryan Disherin back in Saigon Shaker instead of Shaker. And we'll also have a big stadium tour debut here for Michael Pagliarulo and Chucky Pauken as a part of Tomfoolery Motorsports. See Michael Pagliarulo debut the Recreation, and we'll see Chucky Pauken make his Monster Jam debut in Excalibur. This tour has a lot of new stadium debuts for full-time stadium tour debuts here for Tristan England, Joe Uri, Michael Pagliarulo, Chucky Pauken, and Armando Castro. As Armando Castro will also be making his full-time stadium debut, as that's something we really want to see out here. Now, as for the schedule here on Stadium Tour Yellow, the tour will January 6th or 7th. They'll kick off the tour there they'll go January 6th or 7th. They'll kick off the tour in Anaheim, California, Angel Stadium for 2 shows. January 13th through 14th, they'll go to San Diego, California, and Snapdragon Stadium for 2 shows. January 20th through 21st, they'll go to San Antonio, Texas at the Alamo Dome for 2 shows. January 27th through 28th, they'll go to Miami, Florida at Lone Depot Park for 2 shows. February 3rd, they'll go to Tampa, Florida at Raymond James Stadium for 1 show. February 10th through 11th, they'll go to Indianapolis, Indiana at Lucas Oil Stadium for 2 shows. February 16th through 18th, they'll go to Virginia Beach, Virginia at Virginia Beach for 4 shows. February 24th through 25th, they'll go to Houston, Texas for 2 shows. March 2nd through 3rd, they'll go to Oakland, California at the Ring Central Coliseum for 2 shows. March 9th through 10th, they'll go to Minneapolis, Minnesota at US Bank Stadium for 2 shows. March 16th, they'll go to Wheatland, Missouri at Lucas Oil Speedway for 1 show. Then after that, the tour will take a couple weeks off, or the tour will return. They'll take 2 weeks or 3 weeks off, and they'll return April 6th at Seattle, Washington at Lumen Field for 1 show. Then April 13th, they'll go to Cleveland, Ohio at First Energy Stadium for 1 show. Then on a Sunday, April 21st, they'll go to Salinas, California at the Salinas Sports Complex for 1 show. April 27th, they'll go to Denver, Colorado at Empower Field at Mile High for a show. And they'll end off the tour May 4th at Salt Lake City, Utah at Rice Stadium. Woo! A lot to take in here for this tour, as this tour will be mostly on the West Coast and will make a few appearances here on the East Coast, such as in Florida and Virginia. As you see here, we got another February Tampa show like how we did with the January one. We get an early February Tampa show. We'll get to see them return to Snapdragon Stadium. I also really want to see Anaheim and Tampa be these shows, the kickoff starters, as and before the pandemic, Anaheim and Tampa were well known for being the shows to kick off the tour. So we'd really love to see those be returned to be tour kickoffs. And we also have here notable on the schedule, we'll have Virginia Beach, Virginia I'd love to see Monster Jam do a show on the beach. I mean, I've done some, as you've seen, if you watched earlier this season back at Madeira Beach, I did a Monster Jam show there. I've seen them do monster truck shows at Virginia Beach, Virginia, lots of times before. So I'd really love to see them do Virginia Beach, Virginia, again for a show for Monster Jam. I actually remember, I think maybe it was in 2007 or something, there have actually been Feld trucks. I have actually seen before, Feld trucks have actually done Virginia Beach, Virginia before. Back in the old days. Like, I think I remember back in like 2007, I believe, Gravedigger, U.S. Air Force Afterburner, Strano 199, and Taz all did Virginia Beach back during that year. So, we'd really love to see Monster Jam make a return there to Virginia Beach. We'd love to see a Monster Jam show for its first time there. We'd see Houston, Texas get pushed back a bit later into the schedule. Well, usually Houston is in late January or mid-February, but this time we're moving it to late February. Oakland is also usually known to be either in around mid to late February or early January, such as that being the tour kickoff for stadium tours yellow and red for 2023 and 2022, and is now being pushed back to early March. Minneapolis is usually known for being around mid-February. We're now pushing that back to around mid-March. We also have Wheatland, Missouri here at Lucas Oil Speedway. There's been good monster truck shows there before, like 2020 through 2022. We've been seeing some great monster truck shows there. So I'd really love to see Monster Jam do more Speedway shows. That's something we really want to see, is more Speedway shows. So I'd really love to see Monster Jam go there. They'll return to Seattle, Washington as being the first show return after the tour takes a break. I think we'll see that as the tour, when the tour kicks back up, April 6th. They'll go to Cleveland, Ohio. Oh, I would love to see Cleveland, Ohio as a part of the Points Championship Series, since it should have been a part of the Points Championship for Stadium Tour Red in 2022, but unfortunately it wasn't. So I'd really love to see that. And instead of it being held, the Cleveland show being held in late or early July or early June, we want to be seeing it held in around mid-April. We'd love to see Salinas. Salinas is usually always around June, sometime in the mid to late June. Well, now I'd love to see Salinas be put back here into April, as Salinas was supposed to be a part of Stadium Tour Blue, as maybe a 4-point show or a non-4-point show, and as a part of a non-4-point or 4-point show for Arena Series East, but it never was. So I'd really love to see this time is, Salinas has usually been known for a 10-truck field. We'd love to see Salinas get a 16-truck field out here, and get to see a Monster Jam show at that huge field there in Salinas, and for the first time be counted for points. Then we see kind of like in Stadium Tour Red of 2022, Denver, Colorado, and Salt Lake City will be the final 2 stops for the tour. That is it here for Stadium Tour Yellow. We're now going to move on out here to the International Tour, whereas the International Tour would feature, oh, no, I don't know why my PowerPoint was getting there for a second, but what I'd love to see for the International Tour, we'd see Matt Cody and Gravedigger, Chelsea Van Cleve and Zombie, Harley Pawkin and Monster Mutt, Brandy Marcotte and Scooby-Doo, Blake Granger and Max D, Miranda Kozad and Thor, Peter Nyman and Earthshaker, and Brandon Arthur in Iron Man. And this would be a really, really good tour out here for in the International Tour to return. And Matt Cody returning back once again to the wheel of Gravedigger. I'd love to see, we saw Chelsea Van Cleve drive Zombie for the South Africa Tour this year. So I'd really love to see Chelsea Van Cleve be back at it in Zombie once again here for a show. We'd really love to see Chelsea Van Cleve back in Zombie here full-time here, and she can take over as being the new full-time driver of Zombie, since we know we have Bari Musauer stepping down from Zombie to drive Black Panther. So we'd love to see that. I'd love to see Charlie Pawkin in Monster Mutt. I'd love to see Charlie Pawkin and drive Monster Mutt full-time internationally instead of Megalodon, as he fits way better in Monster Mutt than what he does Megalodon. So I'd love to see him drive Monster Mutt full-time on the International Tour. We have Brittany Marcotte and Scooby-Doo. We want to see Brittany Marcotte make a full-time driving and appearance in Scooby-Doo. and she can take the reins of Scooby-Doo here for this tour. And then we have, she'll step out as Zombie and she'll drive Scooby-Doo. Then we'll have Blake Granger and Max D. He out here again on another international tour. Or we'll have Miranda Kozad drive the Thor once again here full-time on the international tour. We want to see Peter Nyman drive full-time here on the international tour in Earthshaker. And then lastly, have Brandon Arthur making a full-time international appearance here, driving Iron Man instead of El Toro Loco. And that is it for the tour lineup. Here is the tour schedule. February 10th, they'll be in Stockholm, Sweden at the Friends Arena. April 13th, they'll be in Cape Town, South Africa at the DHL Stadium. April 20th, they'll be in Johannesburg, South Africa at the FNB Stadium. April 27th, they'll be in Durban, South Africa at the Moses Mabhida Stadium. Then May 4th through 5th, they'll be in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates at the Etihad Arena. So not really much has changed here for the international tour. It's practically the same in the schedule, besides all the South Africa and United Emirates shows being pushed back 1 week earlier. Also, I did forget to put on the schedule that actually May 11th through 12th they'll actually also be in Arnhem, Netherlands. I forgot to put that there on the schedule, but they'll be there for that's when they'll do that. That'll be the next stop here on the international tour. I forgot to mention that. Now, you guys may have been wondering, what will the tracks that will be designed used for the shows for the international tour or in stadium tours in the U.S.? Well, I've got your answer. Oh, but first, before we get that, here are some of our missing out. Here's our missing out segment of trucks and drivers we would have loved to see compete in Monster Jam this season, but unfortunately are not going to be able to. We would have loved to see Airmail, but just not enough room. Not enough room either for Tim Jones and Tailgater. Or not enough room for Big Kahuna. Oh, it's Shane England. Not enough room for Lee Plato with Scattered and Skull Crusher. And plus, Shane Plato is not old enough to drive in Monster Jam. I think he's currently right now I think he's 15 right now and maybe 16. But I believe he's 15 right now, and 15, you have to be 18 to drive a Monster Jam, so they're going to have to wait on that. Animal House and Vern House with Dysfunctional with Shane Freed and Faith Freed in Animal House. Unfortunately, Faith Freed not old enough to drive a Monster Jam just quite yet. You have to be 18. She's currently 14, so you got to wait a couple of years. Not enough room for Dysfunctional. As for Dysfunctional, you're going to have to wait. And unfortunately, there's not enough room, and there's not enough team for DCT Power Sports either. We would have loved to see Blockhead, Dirt Crew, Dozer, and Maximus compete in Monster Jam someday. Now, here's what I'd love to see for the stadium tracks for this year. For the stadium tracks, I'd love to see a variety where they change it up every weekend. I'd love to see them just change up the track every weekend. Like maybe one weekend they're doing an old track from 2008, then the next weekend they're doing something from 2022. Then 2012, then 2023, and then 2019. Like, they change up the track, and they change up the color of the track as well. Well, I'd love to see variety and paint schemes of the track as, I felt like the Monster Jam tracks from 2011 and before, or like any track from 2011 and before, or were, when they had a lot of variety as, there were different color schemes, and always different. But since 2012, the track has been either, like, the same two colors, like 2012 and 2012 and 2013, the tracks were red and yellow. All the tracks were red and yellow. 2014 was all purple and yellow. Oh, and then 2015 the colors were a bit more differentiating and a variety. And same with 2016. 2017 was also a bit more of a variety of like lots of green and orange and purple and blue. And then 2018, then they had like all four stadium tours one specific color of either being black and purple, black and green, black and blue, and black and yellow. In 2019, it was black and yellow, black and green, and black and blue. Then black and blue for black and red, and black and yellow, and black and green for 2020. 2021 got to see a bit more of a differentiating with the paint schemes of the track and the color. Or like usually on the East Coast shows, it'd be more of a green track, then they had yellow for New Orleans, and then they had red for any of the more of the West Coast shows. 2021, 2022 is mainly red and yellow. 2023 was blue and red. And I'd love to see more of a variety in track colors and the colors of the track. We'd love to see it more of a variety in the track layout where they change up the track every single weekend. There'd be something new and different every single weekend, so where it's unexpected and the colors are different. There's different colors, like maybe for like a Valentine's Day show they can do like a pink track with all the hearts on it, or for an Easter show they can put like a bunch of Easter things and draw that kind of like stuff. Kind of like how they did with the Halloween track in Orlando of 2022 of October last year. And we'd love to see more like a variety in paints on the track as well. And make sure each track has a backflip on it as well. And it's basically like maybe they could take some of the old tracks and modernize them and put a backflip ramp in it. Now here's some more. So that's probably it for everything we do want to see for the season as far as tour lineups and tracks and schedules. Now I want to move on to some of the more little things I want to see. First up, I want to see crushable objects make a return. Monster Jam slowly over the past couple of years, 2022, 2023, has been slowly trying to return back to more crushable objects, such as having a bus stack. Like we have only seen buses so far only twice this season, which were in Atlanta in the World Finals. So we'd love to see like more buses return at all the shows. We'd love to see more crush cars at the shows, as Monster Jam was actually doing really good with the crush cars in Dresden, Germany. Like the crush cars were almost like freestanding almost in Dresden, Germany, and for that show. And you're going to see more crushable cars at the World Finals this year, like with the crush cars in the racing lanes. Now I can just land on top of them and crush them in freestyle. It was really cool. I really loved seeing that. And more of the buses and stuff like that, World Finals, and seeing more crush cars on the track at some of these shows. Like I remember in some of the shows, like in Jacksonville, like it shows like Frankfurt, Jacksonville, Minneapolis, and Inglewood. Those tracks all had like at least 5. They had like 5 crush cars embedded. And seeing like anywhere from 2 to 5 crush cars embedded on the tracks at the shows is really cool. So we'd love to see more of that, and hopefully they can return to more freestanding crush cars. And I'd love to see the return of motorhomes, as we haven't seen a motorhome since 2015, where some Battlegrounds cat truck actually ended up jumping through on it as a part of like a halftime encore thing in Anaheim 2015. But we'd love to see more campers and mobile homes and campers be put onto the tracks today. Next up is I'd love to see them get rid of the non-for-points arena shows. As to be honest with you, we do not need to see non-for-points arena shows. We do not want to see that. We want to like have those weekends off and push some of those non-for-points arena shows and have them be more in the second quarter than in the first quarter. So I'd love to see them not do any more non-for-points arena shows as I want to see every single show to be 4 points. I'd love to see them cancel the animated adventure series, as we don't really need this. We want to see Monster more pointed toward a general audience, not towards kids, and we don't really need a cartoon show either. This doesn't seem right, so we hope they can cancel this. I haven't been seeing, they actually kind of did cancel it after 2022, but I've been seeing it make a return now with them dubbing more of their episodes in different languages. Number 2, I'd love to see a bit more lenience on the RII, as we want to see them we kind of want to go back to the old days where we want to see the trucks run into the ground until they just can't go anymore. We'd love to see that and see more trucks be able to save it and run trucks with broken trucks, so that really shows talent and skills of the drivers. And usually some cool, crazy stuff happens from that. So we'd love to see less of the RII here on the at the shows. I want to see less RIIing, or if there's like body panels on the ground, just crush them, run them over, or for the carnage. Just as long as make sure like everything is safe, and be willing to pay for damage and not be cheap. So yeah, we want to see the carnage, but we also need to make sure it will be safe, so that way Monster Jam does not get sued. Because you guys remember in Tacoma 2009, a truck flew off of a truck part flew off of a truck and hit somebody's stands, and I believe killing them. And if that happens again in Monster Jam, then Monster Jam could be sued and taken down, and monster trucks could get outlawed entirely to where monster trucks will be no more. and we do not want that to happen. Next up, I'd love to see a new Monster Jam video game. You know, there was originally supposed to be DLC for Monster Jam Steel Titans 2, but we never even got it. After 2 years, we've never gotten any DLC, and so I'd really love to see a new Monster Jam video game developed. I'm really hoping that we do get another new Monster Jam game. I'm hoping it's being developed by THQ Nordic and Purple Lamp Studios, because I would really love to see Purple Lamp Studios develop a Monster Jam game, because Purple Lamp Studios did absolutely amazing when they made Cosmic Shake and Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. They did awesome making those games. They did absolutely awesome making those SpongeBob games, especially Cosmic Shake. That game was amazing, and that game had good graphics, good physics, good dialogue. That game was just really amazing. It was smooth and polished. And so I think I would really love to see Purple Lamp make a Monster Jam game. And THQ Nordic. They're such a good video game company. I've seen some people online saying they want to see Activision make a Monster Jam game. And to be honest with you, I really do not want that to happen. I mean, Activision did make some good games with Monster Jam 2007, Path of Destruction, and Urban Assault. But I don't really trust heavy Activision again after what happened with Hero Pants and Plankton's Robotic Revenge. We do not want another terrible Monster Jam game. I love Hero Pants and Robotic Revenge, but those games weren't the best and polished. So I'd love to see them make a new Monster Jam game, so you can get to see more nukes, more tracks, more trucks, probably more independent trucks on there like Black Pearl and Jester, and more tracks from some of the newer seasons of Monster Jam like 2022 and 2023, bringing more venues and more stadiums. I'd just really love to see them develop another brand new Monster Jam game, and hopefully with even better physics, towards more like BeamNG. I'd also really love to see championship decals return to the truck. As we all know, guys, from some of the older days of Monster Jam, they kind of did have championship decals on the truck, like you can see right here. It says 3-time World Finals champion right here on the roof of Gravedigger. And then they kind of like removed that after 2017. Like, let's say they should put some championship decals, like let's say on the roof of Max D, they put on there 14-time World Finals champion, or on the roof of Thunder Roars, they put 2023 World Finals Freestyle Champion or something like that somewhere on the truck on Thunder Roars, or somewhere on Earthshaker that can maybe put like 2023 World Racing Champion and stuff like that, or put on Brandon Vincent's truck like 2022 World Racing Champion, and somewhere kind of like what we see on some of the older trucks like what they have. Avenger could do that as well, to put on his truck 2-time World Finals champion, because Avenger is an independent and he can develop and make his own bodies, so he can definitely do that to see an independent. But I'd love to see that make a return. Next up is the judging. I think I'd either say A, remove the judgeszone.com entirely, just remove it, get rid of it, or do what we did at World Finals, where we had a combiner of the professional judging and the fan judging, where maybe we get like old drivers or old crew chiefs, like maybe Dennis Anderson, Scott Douglas. We can get them to be judges. Or maybe get drivers like, let's say, some driver like Brianna Mahan, or some driver like that leaves from maternity leave or something like that. They can drive and they can be like a judge or something. Or maybe we can get like other people like Rosalie Raymer to do judging. And what we just love to see more. We'd love to see professional judging or hire professional judges, and we'd love to see it make a return here to the sport, so that way the judging can be a bit more fair here. Next up, we have the return of Zoomies. I'd love to see the Zoomies return. As I do think Monster Jam and the Monster Jam was kind of really quiet with the engine noises from like 2020 throughout 2019 through 2021. They were a bit more quiet. I'm seeing the trucks getting more louder throughout 2022, mainly because the independents like Corey Rummel and Jim Kohler's trucks are pretty loud, as well as the Velociraptor Blue Chassis, as well as Vendetta, Overboard, Black Pearl, Shaker, Bad Company, with those headers they have making the sport louder. than what it has been in some of the more recent years. I'd love to see zoomies return. I don't want to see zoomies on every truck, but on some trucks. Like, I'd love to see zoomies put on. The only felt trucks I'd really love to see them have zoomies on are Gravedigger, Max D, Son of a Digger, and Thunder Roarus. Those are the only felt trucks. All the other felt trucks can just run mufflers, and then let the independents run zoomies if they want to. Like such an independents like Avenger. You can see them run zoomies, or Axe, and they can run like downsiders and stuff like that. So that is something we'd really love to see return. They make the sport louder, because the louder they are, the better. More thrill. The sensitive little kids will survive, because all of us little kids who grew up with the sport, like Avengers Racing, myself, Monster Truck Reels, Monster Truck Lord, Jesus Esparza, when they survived with the zoomies, they survived. So today's little kids can as well. If the old generation survived from the zoomy sounds, then the new generation could. Little kids need to toughen up. Next up is I'd love to see the end of censorship, as I'd really love to see Saigon Shaker return. With the word Saigon and not have to just be Shaker, as that's just kind of weird. So we just love to see the censorship end. We'd also love to see the censorship end so we can put Kamikaze can compete in Monster Jam. We'd love to see Kamikaze. He returns to Monster Jam and not return, but to compete in Monster Jam full time. So we can allow more independence with names like that to be allowed to compete in Monster Jam. So I'd really love to see the end of censorship. Next up, I'd love to see Monster Jam get a contract with Nickelodeon, and as you know, we'd really love to see Monster Jam and Nickelodeon collab and get a sponsorship, so we can maybe finally see a SpongeBob monster truck. That'd be a dream come true for me. Next up is I'd love to see Sweet Victory be played at the halftime show at World Finals. Jamie Dulcing, somebody who works at Monster Jam, actually did post something to Instagram asking us, who do you want to see come perform at the Monster Jam World Finals halftime show? And I said Sweet Victory from SpongeBob, and a lot of people actually ended up liking my comment, including Jamie Dulcing himself, as well as even in big monster truck creators like Avengers Racing. So hopefully we can see Sweet Victory be played, because, like, you know, it's Monster Jam World Finals, there's a lot of Sweet Victory going on, so it's just a perfect fitting. And plus, next year will also be 25 years of SpongeBob, so we'd love to see Sweet Victory be performed at the halftime show. Next year, it would be a dream come true to see my two favorite things, Monster Jam and SpongeBob, make a collab. I'd also love to see next year at World Finals a 28 truck field instead of 24. Or, as you know, I think this year could have probably been a 28 truck field, so they can do 28 trucks all in one night, because they did do that back in 2013. Like, you know, this year, if we could have expanded to 28 trucks, I could have allowed for, like, Nick Pagliarulo, John Zimmer Jr., Zach Garner, and David Olfert to make it into the main field. But they got robbed because there's only limited trucks, and it's going to be really competitive throughout the coming up years if this can come true. So we'd love to see 28 trucks at the World Finals. Next up, I hope Monster Jam can keep the Spin Master contract, as I hope that can stay around, as I really do love Spin Master, or as they really make good trucks. And the trucks they make are really high quality and are better than the stuff Hot Wheels made, better, higher quality, and better attention to detail, and are more IRL accurate than Hot Wheels. So we hope the contract can stay around. Next up is I really love to see Monster Jam get a contract with DC for something I'm going to bring up soon, which is a Marvel vs. DC All-Star Challenge. I'd really love to see a Marvel vs. DC All-Star Challenge, and I'm sure all the fans would as well. Monster Jam, technically, I believe DC is a part of the Warner Brothers, and since Warner Brothers does have a contract right now with Monster Jam with Scooby-Doo running, this could have a chance for Warner Brothers to have DC trucks make a return, and we can see that happen next year, now that we have Marvel involved. So we would love to see the two collab and have a Marvel vs. DC All-Star Challenge. I know all the fans would love to see that. Happen. And I'd also hope that the Marvel vs. DC All-Star Challenge will also be 24 trucks in 2 nights. And they switch up the tracks each night for racing. And they do, like, maybe some sort of track of racing in layout on Friday, and best trick, and then they do that like best trick and certain racing layout on Friday, and then they do freestyle and other racing track on Saturday. And hopefully maybe we can see him in Glendale, Arizona as well. I'd love to see Glendale get the All-Star Challenge or the Superstar Challenge, whatever it's going to be called, because you know, they really did deserve it, because they were going to get it in 2020, but then the pandemic got in the way, and now they moved it to Anaheim. So Glendale is deserving for a big Monster Jam event to happen in their venue, whether that be World Finals or the All-Star Challenge. They really deserve it, since Glendale is one of the biggest Monster Jam floors they do all season, besides maybe like Atlanta Motor Speedway. Next up is I hope MonsterJam keeps allowing YouTubers to upload their videos. I hope MonsterJam continues to allow people like myself, Monster Truck Lord, Monster Truck Reels, Avengers Racing, Jesus Esparza, Mark Galloway, Mac Vlog Mac, and many other creators that keep allowing us to post the videos of the shows, so we can make a living and help grow our sport into the future and get footage out there to try to attract new fans to the shows. And we'd really love to do that. We hope MonsterJam does not start copywriting and taking down our videos like they used to. So we hope that that can happen and it continue to happen as well. Next up is I'd love to see some more stops added to MonsterJam. I'd love to see the return of Amway Arena in Orlando, Florida. That's something I've been wanting to see for a while now. They did it once back in 2018, and I'd love to see the return of the arena. Then we also have other arena other shows I'd love to see make returns of. I'd love to see them make their return to Hagerstown, Stafford, and West Lebanon. These were three really iconic speedways, and I'd really love to see them make a return to that. I'd love to see more fairground shows to get like a variety. Like maybe they can do like Springfield, Missouri, or Miami, Oklahoma. Two iconic stops for independent shows in MAP Motorsports. So I'd love to see more of those type shows, or maybe Naples, Florida. I'd really love to see Naples, Florida get added on there with that huge jump or the fountain, or that huge fountain jump, or even Okeechobee with that arena they kind of like do in Okeechobee, Florida. I hope they do that, and I also do hope MonsterJam can also expand and maybe go to other countries that are safe to go to, that aren't being bombed or something like that, and safe countries as well. Hoping they can expand and continue to grow internationally. Hoping they can do more stops like in Canada. Like I'd love to see Winnipeg, which is a stop they did in Canada back in 2020. We'd love to see Winnipeg make its return to the sport here. And also love to see MonsterJam expand to other states in the United States, because there's actually some states in the United States MonsterJam doesn't visit. States like South Dakota, Montana, and Wyoming. MonsterJam does not do shows there on a regular basis, so we'd love to see them do that. We'd also love to see them also do another show like Hawaii. I know Hawaii would be expensive, but they've done like shows like San Juan, Puerto Rico, which is not too far off the coast of the U.S. So maybe we'd love to see them like maybe do Hawaii as well. I'd love to see them do a show in Hawaii, as that would be really cool. So we can expand and try to continue to expand and take the sport to more and more places. Next up is I hope they never ever do electric trucks. When the trucks go electric and they're quiet. Like, we do not want to see those headers they were using earlier this year in Stockholm, Sweden to become a reality. We want these trucks to be loud, not quiet, so we hope that doesn't happen in the future. I'd love to see the Fountain make a return at World Finals. This year, we kind of got to see a triple bus return to World Finals. And I'd love to see a Fountain return to World Finals as well, as it's such an iconic jump, and I'd love to see it return to the World Finals. Although the Fountain did cause some chaos back in 2017 and 2018 with making the track a bit more muddy, I just love to see it make a return, and hopefully the drivers don't hit it as much in the freestyle competition compared to what we've seen in past years. The Fountain never really was out of chaos or out of control. Well, it made the track too muddy and slick. From when they had the Fountain from 2005 to 2012, it was fine. It never really caused any chaos, and the drivers rarely even hit it in the first place. But I'd still love to see it happen, as it was a really cool obstacle. I love having water on your track. I really love that. So I really hope they can do that at World Finals next year. I'd love to see independents make a return internationally. nationally next year. I'd really love to see Independence do more international shows. Like, I remember Independence did used to do international shows in 2019 and before. Like, in 2019 before, like, in San Juan, Puerto Rico, I can remember, like, Vaughters Motorsports as well as the Stinger Unleashed team did San Juan, Puerto Rico. Oh, back before the pandemic. Also in 2017, we saw natural disaster with the hurricane force and storm damage chassis being used in those shows. I'd love to see other independents run international, like Jurassic Attack ran internationally, and so did War Wizard. Apparently, I didn't know this, but War Wizard and Jurassic Attack both ran internationally from like before, like 2009 and before. Or that they ran internationally, and maybe even we get some more other international independents to compete. Like, we do have Peter Nyman, which is kind of an independent when running a felled body. He's independent, but we'd love to see other independents. Like, maybe we can bring back Raptors Rampage with Jack Monkhouse, like that ran back in the day, or we can see Swamp Thing return. We can see Swamp Thing drive in Monster Jam shows internationally, because that did happen before. Hopefully, maybe we could see that, and just see more independents compete internationally, because I would love to see more independents compete internationally. I'd also love to see if Tom Mentz were to, for some reason, ever do an international show again. I'd really love to see Tom Mentz run a Willmans chassis internationally. Because, remember, Tom Mentz in 2022, he went to London, he ran a CRD chassis instead of his usual front engine truck. So I do hope maybe if they do another show, Tom Mentz does do another show internationally, they can give him his Willman chassis to run internationally, if he ever does an international show again. I'd love to see also the return of the Showdown competition, and like maybe this can be held like on a Friday, the same day as qualifying. I really love to see that return to allow maybe like some of the young guns in the sport, like Zach Garner, John Zimmer Jr., Michael Pagliarulo, Jamie Sullivan, Ashley Sanford, Michaela Talochka, Joe Foley, so forth and so on. We get to see those trucks compete to try to make it into the main field for the last spot. I'd love to see that make a return someday to the sport. And hopefully next year will be the year. And I'd also love to see at some point have an international driver come compete at the World Finals. As you know, we all know, there were supposed to be an international driver to compete at the World Finals back in 2020. Unfortunately, the pandemic messed things up, and they've never done it since then. So I really hope Monster Jam can do that. And as you know, I feel like Peter Nyman was probably like robbed a World Finals spot, as he probably would have been the international driver to come compete. So I would really love to see that happen next year, and maybe get to see Peter Nyman come out and compete in a World Finals. Next up is I'd love to see the 8-pack for one be in every single arena show across the U.S. And just for every arena show in general, even international arena shows like United Air, like Abu Dhabi and San Jose. Not San Jose, Abu Dhabi and San Juan. We'd really love to see the 8-pack in every single arena show. And seeing like more arenas like Colorado Springs or Pensacola. We'd just really love to see the 8-pack at every single arena show Monster Jam does. Because we'd really love to see a backflip at a lot of our Monster Jam arena shows. We'd really, really, really love to see that. And I also hope that, I think there is a rule where only one feld driver is allowed to hit the 8-pack. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's for the conservation of the ramp. To conserve it so it doesn't get too damaged. And for some reason, only one feld driver is allowed to hit it at each show. So I do hope that rule changes and more like, or I don't know if independents aren't allowed to hit the 8-pack or not, but I do hope that more independents and more feld trucks can hit the 8-pack backflip ramp in the arenas. So it's the only independent driver who did an 8-pack backflip in the arenas in 2023 was David Olfers. And then in 2022, the only drivers who did an 8-pack in an arena show, the only independents who did it were Dave Olfert, Travis Mowry, Dalton Wildner, Zach Garner, John Zimmer Jr., and I believe one other driver. Yeah, I think it was just those 5. And then I'd also actually never mind. I'm actually mistaken on. Actually, Dalton Wildner and Hunter Sousa also attempted the 8-pack in an arena show, but But main point is we want to see more drivers hitting the 8-pack in the arenas, and we want to see that 8-pack pack flip ramp in every single arena show moving forward. I'd also love to see more freestanding crush cars or crush cars return more. Like I'd love to see them more used. Like, oh, actually I know what I want to say here. I actually want to see crush cars replace the log stacks. That's something I've actually been doing in my diecast tour, or in my diecast series, where I've actually replaced all the log stacks with crush cars. So I'd really love to see them do that as well for the IRL shows, is to replace all the log stacks with crush cars. That's something I would love to see. And plus, like, also team trees, like, the log stacks, they have to cut down trees in order to probably get the log stacks, so you can save trees, like, team trees, everybody. We gotta save trees. You can save trees by using crush cars embedded it instead, and we can see more crush cars make a return to the sport. So we'd love to see more crush cars be embedded instead of logs. So I'd really love to see them do that. And then the next thing is when a truck gets shut off, do not resume the timer until the don't resume the timer until the truck has made a hit. Because that's something I've been seeing since 2020, is once a truck gets shut off, and as soon as they refire and start moving, the timer starts again. And which back in before, when a truck would get shut off, they wouldn't hit an obstacle until the timer wouldn't start again until they hit another obstacle. And I'd hope they'd love to see them do that as well. And yeah, also I'd love to see the 24 trucks for the Superstar Challenge as well. Well, something we already mentioned earlier. Then also I'd love to see Monster Jam continue to be broadcasted to MAV TV. And pardon me, although I don't think this will happen, but I'd love to see for the MAV TV broadcast, I'd love to see Monster Truck Reels, Avengers Racing, or Monster Truck Lord, as well as Scott Jordan be the broadcast team. Like maybe let's say Stadium Tour Yellow, Armando and Reagan, or Monster Truck Reels and Monster Truck Lord, they'll cover the footage of that. They'll be the broadcast team for that tour, while Scott Jordan and Avengers Racing will do the other stadium tour. So that's something I'd love to see, but I don't know if that'll happen, but I don't think it will. But hey, DM them. Maybe we can try to see if we can get Scott Jordan to allow the boys into the booth. And that's probably everything I want to see for the 2024 Monster Jam season. And please be sure, everybody, to spread this throughout. Post it to Instagram. Post your Instagram story. Make a YouTube video about it. Post it to your YouTube community. Try to post about this to any social media account you got. Whether it be YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever her website. Just post this. Try to spread the word of this. It's like if you want to post this thing to Instagram, and tag all the drivers so we can see, so the drivers can see this. Tag Monster Jam, tag Fellow Entertainment, tag community members of the sport like Avengers Racing or Monster Truck Lord or Monster Truck Reels or Jesus Esparza, Mark Galloway, MacBlog Mac. Try to tag bigger creators so that way we can see this come to a reality. And really, if we can see a lot of this stuff come to reality, I mean, this would make the sport a lot better and continue to grow our sport. So make sure you tag all those people. We'll spread the word about this. Share this video with drivers if you see them at a pit party. So, yeah. And then, so also one last thing. Here are some of the remaining shows we have left here of 2023. November 4th through 5th, they'll be in Dayton, Ohio at the Nutter Center. November 11th will be the Superstar Challenge in Anaheim, California, where we'll see Team Nitro versus Team Neon compete. We can always see that. I'll get probably more information about that soon. Then also, Monster Jam will be making their return to Australia this month. October 7th, they'll be in Melbourne, Australia for 2 shows. They'll be in Sydney, Australia for 1 show on October 14th. Then I believe they're doing 2 shows on October 21st in Gold Coast, Australia. Some other shows to take note of are August 4th through 6th, they'll be in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Thomas and Mack Center. August 11th through 13th, they'll be in Sacramento, California at the Golden One Center. August 12th through 13th, they'll be in Sunrise, Florida at the FLA Arena. August 19th, they'll be in Tampa, Florida at Amalie Arena for 2 shows. August 19th to 20th, they'll be in Calgary, Calgary, Canada, or Calgary, Alberta, Canada at GMC Stadium for 2 shows. August 25th through August 27th, they'll be in Los Angeles, California at the Crypto.com Arena. September 1st through September 3rd, they'll be in San Jose, California at the SAP Center. September 9th through September 10th, they'll be in Duluth, Georgia at the Gas South Arena. September 15th through September 17th, they'll be in Rosemont, Illinois at the Allstate Arena. September 15th through September 17th, they'll be in Hidalgo, Texas at the Payne Arena. September 21st through September 24th, they'll be in Hampton, Virginia at the Hampton Coliseum. September 30th, they'll be in Glendale, Arizona at State Farm Stadium for 1 show. October 27th through October 29th, they'll be in San Juan, Puerto Rico for a few shows, for 5 shows, I believe. August 4th through 5th, they'll be in Savannah, Georgia at the In-Market Arena for 5 shows. And then October 6th through 7th, October 6th through 8th, they'll be in Vancouver, British Columbia at the Pacific Coliseum for some shows. October 14th, they'll be in Arlington, Texas. This for 1 show at AT&T Stadium. On October 21st, they'll be in Houston, Texas at NRG Stadium for 1 show. On October 27th through 29th, they'll be in Napa, Idaho at the Ford Idaho Center. October 27th through October 29th, they'll be in Bridgeport, Connecticut at the Total Mortgage Arena. And finally, November 3rd through 5th, 2023, they'll be in Spokane, Washington at the Spokane Arena. And that is about it here for everything here on for this list here of tours and all you need and stuff we want to see for the 2024 Monster Jam season. We'll see you all then. Make sure to please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. And so, try to spread the awareness of this video so we can see this stuff happen in 2024. And I'll see you all soon, probably within about a month, a little over a month or so, for the 2024 schedule announcement, and see if any of my predictions and stuff I want to see come true. We'll see you on the 2024 season of Monster Jam, everybody. I'm getting excited. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff that's going to happen next year. We cannot wait. Alright, bye-bye, everybody. Have a God bless day.